Welcome back to teleSUR English. We see new information and a new round of Iran's retaliatory strikes in Israel. We're looking at the city sky as a new wave of Iran's retaliatory strikes are coming down and making new impacts. Let's recall we are closely following and monitoring the Iranian Operation True Promise 3 operation against Israel. This began on Friday morning, very early hours of the morning. Israel sent an unprompted and unprovoked attack on Iranian territory, causing over 70 casualties, among them military officers and nuclear scientists. Following those events, Iran promised to retaliate, promised to respond through its main authorities, including President Masoud Pezeshkian and also Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and hours later began its Operation True Promise 3. Since that moment, it has been launching a series of missile attacks on different cities, towns, territories, key strategic areas of the territories occupied by the Zionist entity, by the Israeli regime. We've seen several of those missiles impact their targets, overcoming their anti-missile systems, and anti-missile systems that has been praised by many in the international world, and that was to stand the test of such an encounter. And in this moment, throughout these days and hours, we have seen several of those missiles overcome those barriers. Also, Israeli authorities saying that the barrier had been oversaturated, and that is why some of those missiles were coming down. We were seeing just moments ago activities from the missiles, a new wave of retaliatory attacks coming down on Israeli territory, on the occupied lands that is the Israeli state. As we continue to closely follow the development of events in the Middle East, let's recall a serious escalation of violence after Israel decided to launch an unprovoked attack on Iran, one of the major powers in the region, a power that had also said time and time again that it was not willing to enter a direct conflict, but was going to respond with all its force if it was directly attacked. That's what happened on Friday morning. We've been closely monitoring the situation as we see activity in the skyline. Let's recall we have back and forth an exchange of fire in the skyline of different Israeli cities. In this case, we are looking at Tel-Aviv as a new wave of Iranian missiles are heading towards Israel. In this case, we have been saying at a very difficult and sensitive moment, Israel decided to launch its operation, soon backed by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a prime minister that has been signaled by the International Criminal Court as personally responsible for the genocidal acts in the Gaza Strip, attacks in the Gaza territory that have continued for these days as well. That prime minister backed the operation against Iran that targeted military facilities, nuclear facilities, and also directly targeted and killed civilian populations in residential areas. Over 70 people were reported killed through the first Israeli attacks. Over 224 are the total number of casualties in Iran after Israeli attacks. We're looking at the Tel Aviv skyline. After different series of missile attacks have been launched by Iran, some of them making direct impact on Israeli targets, some of them being halted by the anti-missile defense systems. We have been seeing the defense systems active also in Iran, bringing down most of the Israeli weaponry and artillery. Back and forth fires between Tel Aviv in this case and Tehran. Earlier today, we've seen major impacts in the city of Haifa. For example, also reports of Ben Gurion Airport being hit. With each attack and with each impact, we have seen explosions, fires, destructions to buildings. The Iranian authorities have reported on striking key and strategic military points. And we continue to see this situation unfold live here in teleSUR English. In this case, we are looking at the Tel Aviv skyline. We've been closely following the development of this exchange of fire. A lot has been said about the capabilities of the Israeli defense systems. The truth is that, as many experts were stating, also correspondents on site, Israeli cities have not seen attacks penetrate those barriers, penetrate those defense systems as they have in the past hours. We've seen major impacts, fire, destruction, and some specialists have said that this was because that barrier were oversaturated. That barrier could not withstand the amount and the level of aggressions that came. Some of the analysts we were talking to today also mentioned the difference between this set of attacks that we are seeing right now and what happened in the year 2024, when Israel also attacked Iran and Iran responded in the same way. But in that case, it was almost single attacks, just one-time attacks. And in this case, what we have been seeing was a full-on retaliation, as we were saying, as Iranian authorities had anticipated they would push back with all its force in what they are describing as a legitimate act of self-defense after Israel targeted their military facilities, nuclear facilities in particular, and also civilian population. We were saying before, 224 total casualties, fatal victims derived from the Israeli attacks. Once again, we're looking at the Tel Aviv skyline as a new wave of Iran's retaliatory strikes are coming down.